well should be on that list.
I do find it interesting because we didn't think the Team Liquid was going to be banned in the Olaf. They must just not want to run the strategy in this specific game. Quas known for his ability to pick up many different champions, so we thought that they'd be willing to pick it away. One interesting thing that this ban somewhat illuminates is in the spring where Quas played a ton of champions, he's only played 7 different champions in this split, and his champion pool has actually shrunk a little bit to more specialize in specific team comps. Either way, Team Liquid playing around a little bit in this game 1. A lot of these are just testing bets.
And I think even less champions speaks to a little bit to the strength of what Team Liquid is doing in their strategies. They're not looking for Quas as an outlet. Piglet's doing a lot better this year. They can round out the compositions on the champions they like to play. We'll see how that happens here. Still waiting for the picks to come in. There's Nidalee.
Expect our priority now. With 2 top lane bans up in there. Gnar has been statistically one of Dyrus' best champion during the normal season, regular season stats, of course. Are they going to follow up this Nidalee ban with an Elise as well? I did mention the Tanko for Dominate. He's been one of the North American players that has put the most time in on that champion. Santorin recently trying to pick it up as well.
The Janabana.
Smithy.
All right.
There it is.
Yeah.
Elise.
It depends on the team, but it is definitely some teams' priority that Elise is absolutely first pick worthy, especially when you're banning away the Nidalee on the other side. Just absurd amounts of damage, good early game control, fits into most team compositions. So Team Liquid with a lot of flexibility doing that first pick Elise.
Oh, yeah. You know, and with the buff to her Spiderlings, her late game damage isn't as bad as it used to be either. So her late game was buffed as well. Still not the best, but definitely better than it was.
Okay.
Interesting. That Ryze gets through. It was the second most banned against Team Solomid, right behind Callista at 12 bans. That actually banned by themselves. But the Maokai here, actually seen Dyrus get himself into trouble in engages with Maokai. They're changing up the style they went with from quarterfinals.
Yeah, pretty much the go-to top lane tank there. But big to me is the lock-in for Braum. With Alistar banned, this has been the go-to melee support for all the North American LCS teams. And it also shuts down Elise significantly later on, because later on, she's all about landing her cocoon, and a Braum can stand in front and take any sort of skill shots for Turtle, so that Turtle does not get picked later in the game, which has been one of the weaknesses of Team Solomid.
Yeah, I do think another thing that's interesting here is both of these mid laners are undefeated this split on Azir. Phoenix 5-0, Bjergsen 4-0, and it is neither banned
goes to
nor
third
picked
round.
early, and it's really falling here. It may not even get picked in this game. We'll see now that Team Liquid has already gone with the Lulu for a bit of a protection composition. I wonder if Bjerg just flies in with the Azir here.
So it is worth stating that, wait, we are on the patch with Azir nerf for
the E no longer knocks up.
Knocks up.
Right.
And also he doesn't get the guaranteed cooldown reduction unless he levels W, but plenty of people have still been using Azir after those nerfs.
Still
it's just
so powerful.
It's just a slight reduction in power.
Saw him over in Europe as well getting played just in the Fnatic UOL game, but it's going to be Echo locked in. Like you said, Jet, that Azir going all the way through. Very interesting. And we see both teams have the composition in mind, and they're not kind of diverting from that at all.
Yeah, well, TSM definitely putting together a huge team fight squad here with a very, very big front line for Turtle. Yeah. So this Jinx, Turtle should be well protected on the Jinx. They want to try and get him that reset, and it will be Santorin picking up that jungle Echo. He has put a lot of time in solo queue recently and on the champion, so trying to catch up to Dominate's level on that champ.
Yeah, we don't know if this Lulu is going top, mid, or support as of yet.
Or the Kog'Maw, so, not quite sure.
Yeah, honestly, there's so much flexibility in Team Liquid's team composition right now. They know the TSM's going for a team fighting comp, and the Gnar somewhat matches that, but gives them a pretty good split push option as well.
For a second, I was like, no AD carry, and then I saw the Kog'Maw again. It's just hiding in the slant of the monitor I'm looking at. So with that locked in, they have the Gnar, they have the Thresh. Quas is going to be able to be a monster in the top lane. We'll see what they round out the composition here on the other side. This could be, or will be, Bjergsen's, I should say, left for the counter pick.
A ton of different options here.
I really do like also Braum against, you know, Kog'Maw-centric comps, because most of the damage will be coming from the buffed up Cog. Let's see here though. TSM into the Lulu. He can pretty much choose whatever he wants. Just depends on how Bjergsen wants to
still take
affect the game. They definitely need a good damage source.
Yeah.
in the mid lane.
Also, Orianna could just enhance the team fighting. It's an enabler for the tanks that they have already on the field. They're really getting this one down. The Azir for the maximum damage since they have such a big tank line.
Nice compositions locked in on both sides. Lulu for Phoenix in the mid lane. They bypassed that and picked up Lulu quite early. Azir goes to Bjergsen.
Yeah, I also really like doubling down with Azir on the champions, the AD carries that do not have dash, because Azir will provide another disengage for the backline there with his ultimate if he doesn't have to use it to go in and break up the team fight.
Yeah, I mean, Reginald talked about TSM's ability to adapt within the series, but one thing that Team Liquid's been able to do all split is craft team compositions to go against their opponents, and they're kind of going all in on that bet. Even though Phoenix is probably the best Azir in North America, they picked the Lulu away from Bjergsen since that's what TSM used to enable their quarterfinal victory and allow the Azir to go over. I think it's a risky thing to do, but we'll see if it pays off here for Team Liquid.
Piglet's definitely got his work cut out for him in the team peeling for him if these engages happen for Team Solomid.
Piglet has been massive for Team Liquid for the entire season. So if you're going to put a lot of weight on his shoulders, Peter definitely confident here.
A hug from Peter and Loco as they make their way to the back. We've heard coaches say before, very unnerving moment when you have to leave the team with those final words. It's all in their hands now. Remember to share your votes throughout the series on Twitter. That is in your hands with hashtag TLWin or hashtag TSMWin. We'll tally up those votes and show them on the screen throughout the game. You can always change it, but then you'll be a cheater. So we're going to be getting into this one. You've seen the comps. The crowd is ready. The teams are ready. Who's got the endurance here to go through this best of 5, and are we going all 5? Team Solomid, Reggie says they think they have it. Team Liquid, we heard Steve on the desk, Liquid saying they want to be able to represent NA at Worlds. We'll see which team can do that. We're on the Rift.
Yeah, another Jinx coming out for Wild Turtle as well. But honestly, TSM with a big-time team fighting composition. Team Liquid a little bit more catch and split push on this one. Really looking forward to seeing what type of early game pressure Dominate can use with that ult.
It's like slow, regular movements by both teams getting those lane split or lane swap wards in, I should say. No lane splitting just yet.
Yeah, should be mirrored deep wards here for both teams.
Oh, so close to being able to get that.
So much.
Quas could have been a little bit closer to that ward spot, and he could have gotten the second auto attack off, but he didn't quite start his first one in time.
Yeah, I think
Clearly a great game.
I think the big difference here is that Team Liquid were both able to get deep wards as well as defensive wards. So they see TSM completely leave that side of the jungle, and they still do have them on TSM's side to see what area Turtle goes to.
And if we have any different starts in the inventories, nothing really across the board. Regular trinkets, just a mono potion in for a special. Getting a little bit more harass in lane if he wants to. So things starting off simple in this one. Cleanse over on the side of Bjergsen to make sure he's not getting taken out early from any of these cocoon ganks in the mid lane. All right, let's see how this begins. Gonna have Jinx going towards the bot. Turtle and Lustboy are gonna start everything on the bottom. Easy game for Piglet here. We'll see if TSM actually starts to get a strong push on this once all Santorin gets to the bottom side there and Dyrus back towards the top. The lane swaps usually in Team Solomid's favor in their games. Very good at controlling their play around the map in the early part.
Yeah, something that was a little peculiar is neither of the AD carry support combos did a camp early on in the game, but they're still getting the swap right off the bat. And it does look like Team Liquid is, because of the quick recall that X Special just had, very willing to have a solo Kog'Maw for Piglet, getting solo experience and levels, and then try and run the support down with Gnar. Gnar is one of the champions who's actually quite good with his support since he has some AD characters.
Yeah, and you see what Lustboy was doing right there. He's trying to build up the big wave and try and buy time for them to come down and look to deny it. But Dyrus recalling right here signals that he's probably just going to go try and catch the wave as well. They're going to try and zone Quas as best they can on Gnar, though. Luckily for him, he does have the extra range, and he's trying to pick up some stray CS here.
This is actually one of those situations where you could
recall.
Where you could expect a 4-man dive, which means that Team Liquid would have to preempt that because X Special showed down there, TSM is deciding not to go for an early dive, especially because Quas had already gotten some experience down in the bottom lane. So Dyrus just decides to teleport up, also knowing that since the support was down, that his teleport top wouldn't be dope.
Exactly. That's why he canceled the recall and then decided to use the teleport there. They know that it's safe for him to go soak up those minions.
Previously, this would be Dyrus getting ganked by like 5 people, right?
Yeah, that's
not anymore.
That's one of the evolutions of the lane swap in these games. Like, for the top teams, they have to be able to read these incredibly small expressions and tells from the opponent team. Since the better the team gets, the more they hide their intentions in the lane swap, and the harder it is to react. So one potential flaw that Team Liquid made is X Special probably showed bottom lane a little too early. If he would have remained hidden, then Dyrus wouldn't have felt as safe teleporting into the top lane. But those are the really tiny things that can somehow sometimes completely swing the early.
Yeah, the support and jungle, very important to try and stay out of the sight of the enemy team as much as you can during these lane swaps, to deny them that little piece of information that they are going to use to make their next step. Dyrus, though, being circled as he goes for the recall already. And he has a defensive ward down, sees Elise move up to the top side.
Yeah, good wards on both sides, allowing duos to be aggressive on the lanes they are trying to take down at this moment. Not too much to come of it, though. Both top laners playing very safe in the situation under pressure.
Yeah, and Dyrus is reacting to how Team Liquid are controlling this creep wave. Since Dyrus's creep wave is pushing out into Team Liquid's territory, he knows that they're not going to go for the dive. So he stays around a little bit, tosses another sapling to get a little bit more experience in gold, and recalls.
Already starting to put their foot down in the bot lane, Team Solomid trying to deny a bit of CS. Dominate is going to be pressured down here to the bot side. I don't think they're going to get too much of it here or be able to push TSM off anytime soon.
Yeah, I like the quick departure from the mirrored lane swap very early on here. TSM already going for the dive.
Oh, Lustboy very low. Actually, TSM may stay too long. In that fact, they're going to keep going. Lustboy is out already. Dominate also has to repel to the backside.
CC chain.
A very nice lockup by X Special. The play not hitting as much as they need, and they are going to be able to, however, get 1 kill onto Santorin. Lustboy walks out, and Turtle just on the edge as well.
Stun into stun into stun. Quas goes Mega. X Special lands the death sentence. Now Dominate comes down from the repel to land a Cocoon. Really nice usage of Team Liquid in that CC, and they're playing this lane swap game a little bit better.
Yep, quicker rotation there for Team Liquid. Dyrus was on the way, but doesn't get there in time. First blood, Team Liquid, and Quas is going to be the one to cash in for that. Huge for them. They want this Gnar to be able to bully Maokai. Now, if they get that lane swap back and they even them up, Quas will be able to push Dyrus around.
Also, Piglet's getting a bit of lead in the CS there due to the scuffle in the bot lane, while Turtle wasn't able to focus completely on CS. So free time in the top for him, and some time with that turret.
Yeah, it's all about pushing the tempo at this point, because when one team freezes, the other team tried to dive. TSM didn't execute their dive properly, but because they devoted so many people down bottom, it was no longer necessary for Piglet to freeze that lane. He then tried to power farm as quickly as he could before TSM would send anyone up to that top lane, and is denying as much as possible to the turret.
Yeah, exactly. Even though the gold looks almost even right now, it's because of that outer turret being taken already for TSM. Meanwhile, Team Liquid have done so much damage to the top side, and they denied a lot of minions up there, just leaving it. They'll be able to recoup that gold.
Good clear. We just saw by Dominate on that pink ward. That was a 4-minute ward placed by Lustboy, so not even a lot of time used there on the pixel brush. Great thoughts right now, just a fundamental play from Team Liquid. Clear the wards and keep pushing yours forward. They already got the defensive pinks out, making sure Team Solomid doesn't try anything tricky in the jungle. Special's going to join back up top with Piglet. Let's try to gain some levels back. 6 and 3 are the levels in that.
Yeah, this is actually fairly scary here. Kog'Maw hitting level 6. Gets a huge boost in lane power. Plus, he's gone for that early sheen, so he has the W active harass to chunk down Turtle. Very precarious situation up there. We may see some jungle intervention.
Back and forth, trying to clean up the wave a bit so they don't get it rocked into the turret. Lustboy and Wild Turtle standing just off on the side. This ward going to see Dominate, so that's good information from Santorin there, or for Santorin, I should say.
Yeah, they know that he's heading down to the bottom side here. Team Liquid have been able to get their defensive pinks up very quickly, but None of them getting vision of the wards from TSM. Definitely like to keep those early defensive peak wards up, or get them up as quickly as possible. Let's see how this Gnar Maokai matchup plays out now that Quas is coming to lane with the Hex Drinker already completed. Dyrus does have the turret advantage though, and he can try and keep it there and play safe.
I'm also kind of expecting Quas to go with the more offensive build throughout this game. He has the Hex Drinker now. There's a pretty good chance he'll go for a Black Cleaver as well, or Frozen Mallet.
Yeah, with the Lulu mid.
Yeah, Lulu mid, you need more damage out of Gnar, also as a split push threat, because we know how much team fighting potential TSM will have in the mid and late game. Team Liquid's going to want and need to have the pressure advantage on Dyrus' Maokai, not only to dissuade team fights, but also to make it harder for Dyrus to get home guard teleports off without sacrificing turret or another objective. So Quas's first blood could actually be incredibly important in the greater context of this game.
Still have eyes on Dominate. Pings are over onto him. Team Solomid keeping the wards down. They had a ward placed in the forward brush on that top side. They're maybe thinking that there was going to be a teleport coming in. We actually saw a ping come from Team Liquid right on that. But nothing comes of it. The trinket dies away, and back to this mid lane, something we were definitely going to focus on. 85 to 87 here, and coming up at the 10-minute mark, these guys can't seem to even get a lead on each other in CS.
It's going really well here for Team Liquid. Not only did they get that first blood, but CS leads on both sides of the lane swap. And here it comes. Every time there's a giant wave that you're pushing into the turret, you want to commit more resources to it, because it is going to draw a lot of attention. Actually, Santorin backs off, so this is going to be 3 versus 2 in favor of Team Liquid. If he's able to land a cocoon here, if Turtle walks to the other side of that range minion, Team Liquid would definitely pull the trigger.
Oh,
he's looking for the blind. Oh, he walked out of the brush.
Second,
getting a little antsy there.
Second fallback pick for TSM. They suspected something was there only because there was such a large wave coming to the turret. And to speak to Piglet's CS advantage as well, so much of that does chain back to the fact that he was solo farming into top lane while TSM was pulling off that dive. This is due to the departure we had in the lane swaps. One team prioritizing the turret versus the other team prioritizing the farm.
Exactly. They also were able, even though they were able to put the solo experience onto their AD carry, which would deny some from Quas. Quas was also able to get the experience and gold off of the first blood, so that's why both sides of the lane swap from Team Liquid are doing extremely well. And again, this Kog'Maw level 6 with the Sheen so punishing in lane. Turtle is going to have to try and run away here as they swap him down bottom.
Oh, wow. And with that swap bottom, TSM will have to make a dragon play almost immediately, because that is foregoing the turret in the top lane. The only kind of advantage that TSM had in the game could be sacrificed. I'm interested to see that Piglet is recalling so soon. It's like they're trying to match TSM at the dragon instead of taking the free objective in front of them.
The power in numbers is there, but TSM definitely does not have the vision down here just yet. I don't think it's going to matter if they can pick off Quas first. Narbar's coming up, slams against a wall, but he's on a chopper, and Wild Turtle's able to finish there. A summoner heal as well to save the team. And Dominate maybe in a bad spot, losing the jungler right as you're doing Dragon. TSM gets everything they want in here pretty much.
Also, because Phoenix tried to run down, now he actually has to come through. He's fine. Dominate, or Santorin's not going to go cut him off. Big pickup there for TSM, able to find that kill onto Quas. But again, that top lane, more solo experience and farm for Piglet on the Kog'Maw, who is the center of the team comp. He's the member of the team that very rarely dies. Has been so consistent for Team Liquid. And having a great start for the Kog'Maw in this comp that's built for him to DPS is really, really big for the TL squad.
One thing, though, is we're now 12.5 minutes into the game, and the fact that Piglet recalled for a fade just to go back up and farm the lane is creating a big gap in mid-game pressure for this Team Liquid team. Dyrus still has technically TP advantage right now since he can join from the top lane and Quas is already in the bottom lane. So if TSM does want to force the tempo, they can do so based on these lane situations.
Exactly, and the area that TSM would be able to get an advantage is in one of those team fights where they can control the area. If they get to choose the terrain that the battle takes place on, then they can overcome, this early game advantage of Team Liquid. They have so many AoEs that they can combo. A lot of zone control there from the squad.
It's still a pretty massive lead Piglet's getting.
Look on to Dyrus, just going to be some extra damage thrown through on the living artilleries, but Team Solomid knows very well those choke points, especially the one just under Baron where they've lost a numerous amount of fights. Now with Azir, they can start setting those up themselves. Bjergsen getting himself to that point, has found himself a CS lead to be that factor that TSM needs.
I mean, if we compare which team will fight better in tight space, it's going to be the TSM team from through. The only thing the Team Liquid really has is if Quas is to get a giant Gnar off, which is still a possibility. One thing we do have to note about this game, though, is it's very high tempo in the number of rotations and lane swaps. How many times has Wild Turtle and Lustboy actually swapped from top to bottom lane? This is probably the 4th swap they've done this game. We're only 14 minutes in. It is costing them, though, because Piglet has been consistent about his lane positioning.
They're trying to stay ahead of the game in their mind, but definitely putting them behind here as they're trying to hold a few of the objectives left on the map. Turrets may be falling quite soon here. Oh, Piglet actually taking quite a bit. Lanterns there as it special positions correctly. Does not look like that Team Liquid can start pushing any of these advantages anymore here. Team Solomid starting to even things out, except for that AD carry lane we were just talking about. Dyrus feeling comfortable to push up. Going to take a bit of damage here from Quas. This could actually result in a Narbar. Dyrus gets the last Arcane Smash in, keep himself pretty safe. Not going to be easy to come back to lane, though. Looking good for Team Liquid here, but they have not really catapulted themselves in any type of lead. Very small.
Yeah. Side lane advantages are huge for Team Liquid. They have been the beneficiaries of these lane swaps. And something that's interesting here is instead of TSM going for the Dragon, they're really trying their best to defend that top turret, which is basically on one hit, and now turning the pressure around here. 50 minutes in, no one has even attempted the Dragon.
That was very interesting to see at the bottom, especially when they did it. A lot of damage to dominate. Team Solomid still felt a little weary, maybe, of doing it, but dominate not fully out of the fight. So playing very carefully, Team Solomid not trying to make any mistakes here. Are actually going to be the one to take down the second turret of the game.
Yeah, doing their best to make up for their farm disadvantages by having more people in a spot and taking an objective. The 2-0 turret advantage is the only thing keeping them close.
Yeah, and keeping them close isn't necessarily even a great thing. With these turrets down, since Team Liquid have such strong side lane advantages, they can easily freeze these waves in their own territory. This is why Team Liquid are so calm about the tower disadvantage, is because they could punish long lanes very easily. Quas has an advantage. He can punish Dyrus. He can solo kill Dyrus if they're too far out in a really long lane. And Piglet also has a huge advantage in a side lane as well. So the long lanes being more exposed could be very dangerous. And Team Liquid really banking on these CS advantages.
Here's Scuttle Control going over to Santorin. Bottom turret after this fight could also be Team Liquid's if they win it. That would really start to open things up for them as well. And TSM's going to start this one, dominate, making its way over, but the team does not look like they're going to try for this.
No, Dyrus could teleport in. Thresh isn't really close. They have to respect this, though. Elise has tremendous dragon stealing potential. Great execute damage on the Spider Q. So yeah, TSM definitely on the back foot here. Team Liquid, they can be the ones to actually take the Dragon and contest.
That's twice now. Team Solomid hasn't shown that they want to go for it. Definitely giving respect over as well as knowing to play it smart. This bottom turret, however, does actually fall due to that fact. Just going to wait for it to clear some off.
There's all that gold. Let's talk about just standing on the map. Team Liquid finally come to collect, putting themselves up. But again, TSM, they've had to do this before. Come from behind with a huge team fight victory. And they've been able to execute so many times. A lot of pressure on them to do that, though. If they lose the first team fight, it would be disastrous for them.
So you're saying, Kobe, okay to draw that game, get the late game team fights where they might have control. Lantern back quickly gets anybody out of danger. It looks like Team Solomid is just going to answer with a turret of their own. This, however, was, or I should say previously, allowed Team Liquid to get forward wards into TSM's jungle. It's the first of the forward wards we've really seen this game.
Yeah.
Going to give them a lot of information here. They may be able to work off of a pick or so in just a few minutes. Very low kill score still. Both teams playing to not lose, obviously, and it's very apparent.
Yeah, I think one interesting thing about these teams in the regular season, as they had 2 very close and competitive games, is ultimately at the end it was a 5v5 team fight where the Azir made a big play and won the game.
True.
So this might be one of the reasons you're seeing TSM at least have confidence in some of their CS discrepancies. There's really also not many other ways they can play around this, because they're losing if they sit the lane straight up. So they're really just trying to scramble and make plays. It's actually on Team Liquid to keep the game passive, since they are winning all the lane matchups, and they just need to kind of contain TSM and allow TSM to keep taking these risks to stay even.
We'll have to see if TSM can adapt. Even Reggie himself said between games, TSM is better at adapting. But who's better at adapting in the game? We've actually seen TSM falter at that a few times and dominate, be able to pull out a 5-man Sejalt or a moment. If you had to look at kind of crazy moments, I'd say Team Liquid has pulled off a few more of those under pressure than Team Solomid has. See if they can do a few more here as TSM puts on the pressure.
Yeah, TSM getting a little deep here. Very dangerous, because this is that split push pressure that you were talking about, where Quas has been able to push all the way up to Dyrus turret. So if a fight just broke out there in Team Liquid's jungle, there would be an immediate teleport from Quas and a giant wave left at Dyrus turret. So he would have to choose between joining the fight, trying to save the team, and giving up a big wave at his turret. The fight didn't break out, though, which is good for TSM, because they didn't have to make that choice. Dyrus was able to get those things.
And now, since Dyrus has gone first item Frozen Heart, and Quas has already completed his Black Cleaver, that matchup isn't getting any easier for Dyrus. As long as Quas has presence in a lane, the home guard teleport, or even an effective teleport, is going to be, it's going to come at an incredible cost. Because if he teleports down, it's almost certainly a turret.
Yeah, I just really want to highlight how dangerous that invade from TSM was. They were not punished, though. And they're able to just hold on again. They're just holding on to this last outer turret. Last one in the game at mid here. Bjergsen defending it till the end. That's something to be said. TSM have had control over the mid lane throughout this, even though the lane swap went so Team Liquid favor.
Yeah. Especially with Team Liquid switching back and forth so much with their AD carry. Surprised they weren't able to get Dragon. But I guess Piglet and Xpecial just kind of stayed up top during all of that anyway. So the pressure just wasn't there. It's created a very slow early game to start for Team Solomid. Knows they're behind probably a few thousand gold, but not in a bad spot. Definitely still anybody's game here as we reach 20 minutes in, and first Dragon has not even been taken. Item spikes somewhat being hit. That needlessly large rod now on Phoenix after his Athenes, and then Nashor's Tooth from Bjergsen. Going into different items, he's trying to recipe into. That Infinity Edge finally finished up by Wild Turtle. I've been actually keeping an eye on that. Quite a late Infinity Edge, but lucky for them, they have not had to fight too much, as Piglet's Triforce was finished some time ago.
Look at that CS and gold difference on Piglet and Wild Turtle. It's 1,100 gold and about 70 CS. Quas is something similar, 1,000 gold on his side as well. And now with the split push pressure on one side of Quas, with him being Mega Nard right now, Team Liquid just turns for Dragon. Easy.
Uh-oh. Santorin gets flayed in. Doesn't get caught, though.
He dives in, still has the chrono break. He can be tricky if he needs to. Dyrus gets pulled in with the lantern that he went on to Piglet with. Dyrus a little too far in. Nobody wants to approach the soldiers, really, but they're able to get past them now. Quas a little too far in. Team Solomid's going to be able to pin him into the pit. He jumps over. The rocket finds him, and Turtle picks up the first kill of that fight. The third kill of the game, 22 minutes in.
Even though Team Liquid got the Dragon, TSM do go for that team fight, and it's after Quas is exhausted. He just turned back into Mini, so even though he teleported, came in with very little presence, and TSM turned on him quickly to get an important kill for Turtle, as they want him to get the Phantom Dancer to accompany his Infinity Edge as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, that was somewhat of a dream scenario if you're thinking about it from TSM perspective. They managed to get a teleporting team fight without Quas split pushing and taking a turret.
That's true.
The split push pressure from Team Liquid has continued to be big, and when you have CS discrepancies but a stronger team fighting composition, you're really hoping that you can find 5v5 team fights without losing objectives. The only thing they lost is the Dragon here, and they pick up one kill for it. It's really a scramble for TSM to stay in this.
Getting those kills onto Turtle as well, the guy that's been down, is just the best situation at the end.
23 minutes into the game, though, Dragon #1 is already significant. With the 6% already returning
very early
value. There's the take.
Yeah. Dyrus cheated inside the lane a little bit, so he wasn't necessarily envision of the Quas when he teleported in. And he gets pretty good positioning for how tanky he is. No Black Cleaver in the fight yet to go. And Quas had been Mega in the top lane, so when he came in as Mini-Gnar, he can't have that big of an impact. Also, picking the ward inside the Dragon Pit may not have been the best call. Unless he's Mega, he can't make a flank initiation, and there was no pinch from Team Liquid. They ended up getting cornered inside the pit.
Yeah. Plus, you know, that's the 2 kills for TSM, both going to Turtle. So they're happy to funnel some more money into him since he's been down. Bjergsen's been doing fine for himself, so there Zero's very well off. Bjergsen actually does have that lead in gold over Phoenix, so
making it work. Team Solomid also starting to upgrade those sweepers and trinkets, making sure the vision's pushed forward, and now roaming in numbers. Does not look like Liquid's going to be able to get here before this turret takes a bit of damage. We'll see if they can recoup and make something work. TSM may actually not want to try. They're back and forth. They're looking for a lot of picks as well when they're doing this. They want to get the advantage right now and keep pushing it.
Well, there's now a window where neither top laner has the teleport, so if your roaming is 5, it's much harder to split up that squad unless Team Liquid can prep it with some type of pick from I Will Dominate's Cocoon on a priority target. As of now, though, it's really TSM putting a lot of the map pressure onto Team Liquid and making them run around.
Solomid, always a different team as they come out in playoffs. Very measured, very calculated in their plays here. Not overextending. Back and forth. There you can see a rise on the turret as well when he brings up the soldiers. That can be right onto the turret, and it just completely crushes it.
That red buff on Kog'Maw, though.
Yeah,
oh, he's got Bjerg.
May actually pull him into range here. This could be nice. That's not going to be able to work enough. Slides out into safety, and TSM is on the back foot here. They're going to go straight for Baron. They're not even going to worry about that turret in the mid lane. Set up some vision here and get going.
Ooh, they don't have the completed Blade of the Ruin King on Piglet, so it'll take a bit longer than usual. TSM going to collapse, and Bjergsen got home guards for this, so he's on the way as well.
Yeah, this is a really dangerous play. Mega-Gnar, just the right time for Quas. Baron at about half health. Can they peel for a fight? They get Darius.
4,500 health on Baron. It gets peeled off of the Gnar ult into the wall. Lustboy can't peel on the backside, but nobody's on Turtle either. Everybody has a chance to shoot Quas. Nice positioning by Team Solomid. The rocket. It goes over its special. A pie to the face. A triple kill coming in for Turtle. And a fantastic play and positioning by Team Solomid on the Baron attempt by Team Liquid.
Oh, they're going to re-engage it. We still have a full health Phoenix, and
Darius
dominate.
Somebody's going down to that Baron damage.
One good glitter lance. One good glitter lance.
This is going to hit. Bjergsen goes in. Can they get the kill down? It is 1 for Phoenix, but they pull out another 2 kills on the side. Very nice. Wild Turtle able to get some good damage in there.
After that fight, Wild Turtle is now 6-0 on Jinx. There were so many critical things about that moment. Blade of the Ruin King not being on Piglet, taking the Baron Tread to not be very fast, gives enough time for Bjergsen to get home guards, which was a perfect buy at the moment, and approach that fight. I don't think Team Liquid was expecting a 5v5 when they peeled that Baron, because in the way it went down, they opted into a very disadvantaged fight.
And it's the second time this has happened. Team Liquid, right after the... Okay, well, let's take a look at the replay first here.
Dominates half health by the time they initiate, and they're both scattered. Team Liquid is in the backline while Bjergsen arrives. It's a full 5v5. It's exactly what TSM wants.
And both Azir and Jinx able to free fire this fight. Once again, Turtle spot on with the super mega death rocket.
Yeah, it was a funnel choke point that they ended up moving into when the Super Mega Death Rocket was shot. Xpecial tried to move up, but couldn't. And then Bjergsen just sacrifices himself for the big play. Ends up trading 1 for 2 on the backside. Beautiful heal timing by Turtle. And that's 6-0 Jinx.
Touch and go there for Darius as well. TSM are able to get themselves the gold lead through, who guessed it, back-to-back team fights.
TSM pride themselves on that fight prowess. Bjergsen said it over and over again. He had a lead in the lane, and the rest of the team was able to control the deficits they were getting in their lanes, and TSM has now been able to put their foot down and start taking the lead.
Now, both times off of Team Liquid starting up the neutral objectives. Now they're going to pressure in. They wreck the Zero a turret, and look to try and get some global gold here.
Great plays all around. Like you're saying, Kobe, a bit of focus for Wild Turtle here, or getting some priority onto him.
Almost got all of them.
100% kill participation, though. He's definitely being a good guy. Getting him fed is going to mean good things. His positioning has been a lot better lately after receiving quite a bit of criticism. It seemed to temper his play too much, but he found a good middle ground.
Yeah, and they drafted a great front line for the really high DPS combo of Bjergsen and Turtle here.
Yeah, I feel like Team Liquid is taking too many team fights and playing a little bit too much.
They got Piglet.
Games.
This is huge. There's a shield. Is it going to be enough from Phoenix? There's the wild growth as well. They're using not that much to take down Piglet. It was the chrono break from Santorin, but it leaves the rest of the team pretty strong.
They just snuck around on the outside, and now they're going to start up Dragon here.
That's huge. I mean, that's another thing. Quas also lost his TP advantage right there. He ended up canceling his teleport. So being able to dodge this incredibly specific teamfight composition from TSM, losing the bottom lane and the top lane, and then still being able to find team fights. Team Liquid needed to do a better job of forcing split pushing this game, and they have been caught in too many team fights.
Interesting itemization choice here for the supports. We got the early Ruby Crystal upgrade for the Sightstone on Lustboy, actually, just so he doesn't have to go back to base as often to refill it. And it delays his Zeke's Harbinger completion as well. Turtle does have his own crit already built, but interesting choice there because Xpecial has gone straight into the magic resist aura, try and defend against not only all the magic damage of the Azir, but also a lot of TSM's front line, even though they are tank, have that slow burn.
Yeah, Turtle's had a dream game. Infinity Edge in 20 minutes, Last Whisper, Phantom Dancer in 9 minutes.
He honestly deserves the gold that he's gotten with the accuracy of his Super Mega Death Rocket.
Yep. Nice prediction on the Lantern take. It always feels bad as a support to kind of bring your AD carry to his own death, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. Team Solomid setting down wards, playing it safe, and really letting Team Liquid kind of get themselves into a sore position here. That's kind of the idea. TSM not really pushing themselves into a fight until Liquid engage it. 320 to 287 in CS in the mid lane. Bjergsen doesn't have kills, but he is supporting these fights very well with 6 assists. Seems like Liquid is trying to get themselves back in some way. You can see if they can't find it, they're waiting for TSM to do the same thing. Make a mistake.
No home guards on the top laners for teleport initiation, so it'd have to be kind of brute force to walk in here. And it's incredibly difficult to walk into a Lulu Kog'Maw team. We know Piglet, even though he just has 2 items, because of the death cap Lulu also powering him up. That's huge. Dire is separated.
They find their pick, and they're going to be able to kill him.
There's one. There. Team Solomid not expecting that, and now they're going around. This should be mid-turret.
Yeah, at the very least, they should be able to clear out vision around Baron Pit. Take the global gold from the last outer turret here, and there are plenty of pink wards and green wards that they could clean out and relieve a lot of the pressure that TSM would get. Perfect timing here as well, as there's a giant wave bottom that Team Liquid really want to be able to clean up.
Huge mistake by Dyrus right there, splitting up from the rest of the team. Really, TSM had abandoned the mid lane turret. Dyrus stuck around trying to save it, but you have to be on the same page against a team that has the Elise right there and is really only looking for a pick. There's no way Team Liquid was opting into a 5v5 team fight unless they got a pick.
All right, they weren't able to clear out the true site, so TSM going to take advantage here. Everybody out, though.
They know that TP is down for Quas in the bot lane, so they go ahead and start pressuring. He gets to keep pushing the bot lane as Liquid puts on their own pressure over at Baron. Little touch and go. It looks like Team Solomid's able to not lose too much off of losing Dyrus in the mid lane. See how big Quas can get in this game. Trying to build up a Randuin's now 244 to Dyrus's 171, and we haven't really seen a good Gnar fight for these guys come out just yet. TSM has been able to avoid that Gnar bar pretty well.
That is the drawback. Maokai so much more reliable than Gnar. On-demand teleport initiations, whereas Quas is gonna, and the rest of Team Liquid are going to have to prep it.
Ooh. Quick silver sash for Piglet as well. That soon in. Delay a bit of damage for him. Team Liquid is going to have to play these fights pretty safe with the amount of damage they are facing in these fights. Team Solomid, when they start to get a lead, they do not let it go. Or very rarely do, I should say. Scuttle control already for Wild Turtle. No contest there. Team Solomid get just about everything they want without being able to move into the jungle and steal Team Liquid resources.
Yeah, I actually do like the early QSS from Piglet because they've made the choice to have Dyrus build pure power for the Gnar, and the magic resist aura duties went to X-Special. He has to build his own cleanse. There's going to be a long wait if they wanted to wait for the Mikhails. Phoenix, though, looks like he might need a little
Dyrus is again sectioned off.
Uh-oh.
The wrong choice. He cannot Shurima slide over the wall. It's going to lock in Dyrus. This should be all right. Killed there. Santorin's actually going to go in as well. Hopefully the Chrono Break can get him into a good spot. Back and forth, Quas is the focus. They finally get a Gnar bar fight, but it doesn't even look like it's enough for them to control it. Bjergsen's been fighting from over the wall without taking any damage and has the blue buff to keep bringing up soldiers. Just great positioning by Team Solomid once again.
Yeah, strange fight. Dyrus on one side of the wall, but TSM still able to land some support from over the wall, so it ends up just being a trade of top laners
Top
left.
laners down.
It started as a mistake by TSM, but the vast superiority of their team fighting comp allows them to trade 1-for-1 and actually force Team Liquid into retreat in fear of Jinx resets.
The bonus of playing a full tank, even if you make a positional error.
He's not fast.
Not that bad.
But he gets to stay in the same place for a long time.
Yeah.
Doing what he can as he goes down valiantly. So, wards are actually going to see the movements of Team Solomid here. Oh, okay. Pulls it up. They are perfectly fine. There's the upgraded sweeper from Lustboy, able to find the ward out. They're going to go ahead and move out. See what Team Liquid can get off of this. Forward wards would give them a chance to maybe disengage the Baron at the right time, knowing there's 5 members of Team Solomid. But right now, they don't have too many more chances to make a mistake. 9-5. The gold lead is not that much, but Team Solomid's fight is just a lot better right now.
Yeah, it has felt like Team Liquid's been slowly sneaking back in gold, however. Even though TSM has held a bit of the pressure advantage. Obviously, though, having to avoid the straight-up team fights without getting picks is huge. And if they actually do want to 5v5, they need Piglet to have much more shredding capabilities. While I do like the QSS to kind of get out of the potential dive, it diminishes his team fight potential and the vast amount of damage he actually needs to do for Team Liquid to win a team fight.
Yeah, maybe they should have opted to have Dominate build the Aegis.
Yeah,
so
in this situation, Dominate Aegis, and then a Mikhails on X-Special or something.
Yeah, because we have pretty much gotten to the point where Elise doesn't bring a lot unless she's able to pick somebody off with the Cocoon.
I was actually just thinking about that as well. We haven't seen too many Cocoon ganks, even from Dominate, as he was just trying to keep the lanes going. They had a good lead in the lanes, so that's all they were pushing. They weren't not getting the kills as they were there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the other side, Santorin, not only does Echo have... Not only does Echo have more teamfight presence, way more teamfight presence than Elise, but he's also been the one to build the Aegis for his team.
Yeah. Another interesting note about the 80 carry powers is obviously with the 8 kills from Wild Turtle, he's hit his item spikes much faster. But if Lustboy completes that Zeke's Harbinger...
8 kills to do that.
Yeah, but with the Zeke's Harbinger as well, even though Team Liquid has somewhat of a Kog'Maw enabling team composition with the Lulu, the window of time where Wild Turtle is dishing out nothing but crits thanks to the Harbinger may actually make him more powerful than Piglet and just the biggest threat.
Oh yeah, I think even now, just heads up, you know, he's got a full item on Piglet, basically a full offensive item on Piglet. So Turtle's already bringing the pain. Oh, pretty good little move.
They keep whimsying Piglet, try to get that Void Ooze and land some living artilleries. Might just be the poke game until TSM engages here for Liquid, it seems.
They're trying to pressure, as they saw Turtle off up to the top side, but TSM hold on the secondary turrets here. And Team Liquid, even though the gold is even, there's a lot of pressure on them right now to make a pick with the Thresh or with the Elise. A lot of pressure on these skill shots to land for both Dominate and X-Special to create a good opportunity for Team Liquid. The other win that they could get would be coming from a giant Quas play. He does have teleport available. He would have to work around that Gnar Rage bar.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so long since the last team fight that every summoner spell, except for Quas's Flash, is up right now. So we could have a very explosive team fight shortly. Obviously, with the amount of wave clear that Team Liquid has had, the split pushing of Quas, it is making it very difficult for TSM to try and close this out in any fashion. Also, the fact that they don't have a real gold lead. And because the first Dragon wasn't taken until extremely late into the game, there's very little accelerating this game towards a conclusion.
Yeah, plus Team Liquid have not been able to get up much vision support for Quas. So Quas, even though he has this big advantage, hasn't been able to really punish Dyrus. Dyrus has been fine just soaking up the wave on his side of the map. Team Liquid have been able to get that deep vision down even earlier in the game when they had a bigger advantage. And TSM have been just fine soaking up as many minions as possible. Now, they're even the ones pushing the areas of control with the Azir turret mid. Turtle, though, off on the side once again. Speaking of vision, they just cleared it out.
Jeez. If Team Liquid would have just gone straight for it and trusted their instincts, they also
now
have complete
the ones
vision.
actually to try and
now
close the
they're
loop.
the ones that are trapped off. Double teleports maybe coming in.
Second guessing the situation might be bad for Team Liquid here. Turtle coming around the backside as well. Chomper's out. He's trying to defend himself, but it's going to be dominate on him. Back to the left side in lane now. No kills just yet in the fight. Dyrus over the wall into Quas. There's the rocket once again from Turtle to start things off. They take down the tank, and they're going for more. That's going to be special. No more fuel really for Piglet with that low mana. Jesse has Phoenix behind him, but he's trying to get kills as well. There's a nice kill from Piglet coming in. They finally get a living artillery 2 hit. Phoenix gets the ignite down. It's not going to be enough.
He got
Absolutely close. He gets it with another living artillery.
Picks the MVP.
Oh,
sticks
my
around
goodness.
even if you go back through time.
Very nicely done.
So
it was a picks. Good call.
Yeah, they were able to get
I saw
it.
the living artillery come down, and my brain was like, you heard that pick.
They were able to even that up, actually, and get 2 kills back as TSM try and leave.
Yeah, I mean, the start of this fight was very chaotic because initially Team Liquid extended it, now it's a collapse with double teleports in, and it gets sectioned off. Basically, Bjergsen is peeling for himself, but he pushes the opponent into Wild Turtle, so the damage from both sides is actually split up in a very strange fashion. Really, another greatly aimed Super Mega Death Rocket coordinating with Dyrus for his Twisted Advance, and it's actually on the back side that Team Liquid is able to pick up the chase with their increased movement ability from both Piglet and Phoenix being that dynamic duo.
Yeah. There's the first
And then this
kill.
one, Santorin.
All right. So Pix is on.
Over the wall early.
He tries to go back in time. Pix doesn't care.
And
Stays there.
Pix gets to cast Borderlands.
Nicely done.
Man, right now.
Oh my goodness, the vision is off of Baron. And Team Solomid also sent Dyrus with no teleport bottom. This is an easy Baron for Team Liquid.
This is the rule.
Oh my God!
You've got to be kidding me. No way. Turtle's done it on Dragon. Now he does it onto Baron. And Team Solomid has the lead this game. The fight ensues. Bjergsen soldiers in right now. You can see Turtle still calling shots in the fight, but cool, calm, and collected. They know they had the fight. A double kill for Bjergsen.
Turtle is a monster!
Again? Stealing an objective with the Jinx ultimate? Oh my God. One of these games swung off of Piglet using a Corki missile to steal Baron.
Can you win MVP for an entire series off of one game?
Off of one skill. Jeez. What a huge swing. That was, don't let this cover up, a catastrophic positional mistake by Team Solomid.
Yes.
Having a giant 2-for-2 team fight where, yes, they were the ones that died later, so they would have been slow to the Baron, but to have your top lane tank not come down with the team to check that space with you, and then they get bailed out because Wild Turtle shot a blind rocket.
Turtle's a god.
The Baron pit. Unreal.
Second time that he's done that. A blind one to steal it. All right, well, because he was able to do that, though, it looks like if you just tuned in right now, you'd say, oh, everything's going according to plan for TSM.
Absolutely.
They're crushing.
They had the scrying orb to catch the health at 3,000 right before he shot it in. So he scryed it, he knew it was low, then he shot it. So it was somewhat informed. And Team Liquid also didn't move to the wall to block it. So you can also blame Team Liquid for that a little bit. When the fight does eventually ensue, though, how do you recover from that happening in the first place?
How much
especially
heal they have for Turtle as well. The Azir, and then Lustboy made sure he was there, and the Dyrus was there. Nobody's touching Turtle. It shows 9-0-3. The Zeke's Harbinger now finished up, so it's going to be even harder to kill him before your life gets zeroed out.
Yep. The inhibitor being down as well. TSM will now have supers marching in. They have so much pressure on the map. They can just march up. Uh-oh, Bjergsen. Whoa. He's on an exploratory mission there. And he finds the entire Liquid team.
Pseudo Baron.
Whoops.
Curiosity killed Bjergsen.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's a big mistake.
Not even quite sure what he was going for.
Well, if you
there.
think about it, walking down or up, you're walking through wards. So you don't expect to go through the pit and see an entire team. But yeah, don't know what he was thinking either.
What is the point?
Maybe it was that.
Be careful about drifting around the Baron pit. If you fall off the...
Yeah,
It's dangerous.
there was literally no reason to go in there. Unless he was just trying to get vision around the side of the Baron pit when we have no flash.
Yeah.
Unless he was trying to,
You know what it is?
dash in ward and drift out.
There's no sandbox mode. He wanted to practice some drifts.
Damn.
Too soon, Kobe.
Too soon, my bad.
So he'll be up in 15 seconds. He'll be able to play, get back into the game, do some more drifting. Hopefully not into the enemy team. He'll be able to avoid that. They had great peel, as I said before, but Team Solomid can't do that if Bjergsen is down. Luckily for them, Team Liquid was not able to engage any fights around the map. They were still kind of recouping from that Baron attempt that has now really put them on the back foot. Team Solomid coming out strong. Playoff TSM always seems to be stronger.
Bjergsen's approaching max items. Phoenix is approaching max items. I mean, even with those Baron steals, just the one inhibitor is cracked. It's not an easy win for TSM by any sense, especially since they have made a few positional mistakes here that are extending this game longer than it needs to be. Obviously, Team Liquid has the move speed advantage, so they are able to force some of these things. And really, it's going to be a question of whether Team Liquid can keep extending this game, whether or not they can get Piglet up to his Infinity Edge. They've also built the Harbinger on X Special, so he's going to be ripping a bunch of crits once he gets that Infinity Edge completed. This is still a very winnable game for Team Liquid.
Pressure by TSM, getting the low-hanging fruit. All these outer tier turrets that Team Liquid cannot guard, just too dangerous because they could be hit up and swiped from the backside. So things going according to plan here. TSM looking to go around the horn. They still have that first inhibitor taken down in the mid lane, but don't really have their side lanes pushed right now. So just meandering about, looking for a pick, stealing resources. They know the game is theirs, so they're playing it safe. 18. Looking at who is under-leveled here. Quas still needs another level. Not too bad. The support's obviously not yet. Dominate is level 16 right now over Dominate's 15, and these objectives still in the favor of TSM through Smite there.
Yeah.
All right, power and numbers. Liquid pushing up the mid lane here. Walking through wards, however. This could be dangerous. Dyrus is going to come back, and he might actually have a flank. Looks like he's going to take the safe route home.
Still no home guards on Dyrus. I think this would be the point in the game where he definitely wants them. He's tanky enough. He should be trying to get the flank initiations on this Team Liquid team that is trying to run TSM around. TSM needs a reliable way of initiating if they want to accelerate this game to be finished. Obviously, TSM plays the slowest games of any team in North America during the regular season, so this 46-minute opener isn't much of a surprise. But with their team fight superiority at the time, they need to be forcing.
Well, they've got the deep vision down in Team Liquid's side, and they also have side waves pushing on both side lanes. So TSM going to head straight up mid and try and take this exposed inhibitor. Team Liquid will probably let that go and defend at a turret.
See how they do it.
Ah, there we go. The inhibitor's this way.
Nothing to get. Just making sure all the wards are placed that they need if they have to exit themselves. Stage left. This should be a downed inhibitor. Like you said, Kobe, should just go uncontested here, but it looks like TL definitely going to flex their muscles on this one. 41 seconds on to Baron, and they're going to have full vision to Team Liquid here on the path there. Teleport is up for Quas. He can make himself present when he needs to. Looking at the Gnar bar, he actually just used it, so they're not going to be able to do much with that.
Yeah. Again, because of the incredibly late timing on the first Dragon of this game, it doesn't actually seem like TSM is willing to take risks to push forward in this game. They're hoping with this extended stay in the mid lane that all the wards time out, basically, for Team Liquid around the Baron pit. They do have 2 upgraded sweepers, but if they do keep Team Liquid contained for 3 minutes, then all the normal wards will just time out. So they're positioning here, trying to set up a pick, and hoping Team Liquid falls for it. Hard, though, when you have a Kog'Maw and a Scrying.
Oh, there's the face check. The game gets longer. Those type of things happen when you think you have the upper hand. Phoenix
one.
absolutely crushed. That's the safety that Piglet needs right there. Big Special's the only one that can really peel out for him. Quas is usually deep in the fight, so it looks like Liquid's going to try something else, go to the beat of their own drum while TSM goes for Baron.
Yeah, they should be able to get it. Team Liquid just going to try and push up mid and get something for themselves. Secondary turret would be all that they could manage.
Be quite a flank as well. They know Piglet is not with the team, so they may be ready to even fight this one here. Definitely pushing Team Liquid back out of the jungle. Nice steal onto the blue, though. That is definitely going to help Bjergsen down a bit in damage, but he's already very strong.
They're going for a flank right here. They know they're down a Lulu, so the protection for Team Liquid wouldn't be great. Honestly,
Lust Boy with the long run on the mobility boots, getting himself into position for the kill. Dominate's not going to have a target to go to here on the rappel. Hopefully the team gets closer to him so he doesn't have an escape. The minion wave's going to be there. He flashes out of the range of the rocket. The first one that hasn't hit for Wild Turtle. And they're going to chase Dominate off on this one. This gives TSM on the other half of the map control. Dominate's going to have to back. That's 8 seconds of freedom without him on this turret as well.
Yeah, kind of a great escape for Team Liquid at the end of this one, but it's still probably the inhibitor down for TSM, maybe 2.
Mid turret could go down here as well, just around the horn for Team Solomid. They've lost top wave pressure, but it's not even going to matter as they brute force more damage onto the inhibitor. Still, however, respecting Team Liquid, looking for the engage onto Piglet, very close. Cleanses off that crowd control. It looks like he'll be moving back just very tense here. Team Solomid not leaving until they get what they want. There's a hook onto Lust Boy. Don't know if that's a follow through for Team Liquid. It is not the target they wanted. Turtle very low. This could be a chase. That is going to be a level 18 Kog'Maw. Long-range living artilleries here if they can keep finalizing these shots. Keeping vision onto Santorin. There's the Blade of the Rune King. Santorin dashes forward with a phase dive, and they are out of range for now. The Time Winder as well to give him some space. 2
auto attacks is what forced Wild Turtle back there, and that made him burn his heal once they started spamming living artillery on him. So you can definitely see the late game potential of this Kog'Maw right now. Team Liquid does sacrifice 2 inhibitors though, so they are really on their back foot.
So both supports with that Zeke's Harbinger now. It's going to be some dangerous damage from the AD carries if they're in the right spot with that activation. Another dragon for Team Liquid. So 5 dragons is pretty much being phased out of the picture here for either team by the time this one ends. We'll just see what else they can get out of the fights that occur because of this.
Really long series of events right there. Honestly, going all the way back, both teams have made some stressed mistakes in this game, specifically positioning-wise.
Being tested.
When Phoenix got caught out of the Baron pit, even though it was kind of off screen, I went back and watched it. There was almost no reason for him to try that flank there. Bjergsen punished him very well for it. But after that, you can just definitely tell Team Liquid's playing their heart out. They are undermanned here from a team fight perspective, but Phoenix and Piglet are doing work. And this is the testing moment. TSM with the Baron buff and 2 inhibitors down. It's almost impossible for Team Liquid to have an extended defense here without losing a Nexus turret or the game.
They already know they have TL on the back foot. Wild Growth now down. Safety on Piglet for his flash and summoner heal as well. That's a very, very scary Kog'Maw to be right now with no escapes. Hopefully, Special's in the right spot for a Thresh Lantern because Team Solomid is not giving up, and Piglet's trying to stay on the front line to trade back the damage and stave off this turret attack.
TSM just going to wait around, wait for those supers to get in.
They haven't been able to get damage onto the turret yet, but damage onto the champions of Team Liquid. I don't know, that might be better here. Once this actually goes down, they may be able to keep pushing through. They're working on minions in the bot and the mid lane right now that Team Liquid's going to have to start spreading themselves thin on. This is only going to get harder for them.
Yeah, when Team Liquid is spreading themselves for those super minions, I actually feel like TSM should be tanking a little bit with Dyrus as they can. And getting some pot shots in, because as it is now, they haven't really touched this. And Team Liquid's been able to clear quite well. They are. That's a sacrifice. They knew they had to give that one up if they wanted to maintain presence on this.
A big sacrifice. Let's see if it pays off here. Not many things looking good. It is a best of 5 though. Sometimes you almost write one off and think of the next series. But like you said, Jet, Team Liquid giving it all here in game 1. And looks like they're going to leave everything on the Rift for every game, if that's possible. They're going to try to do it.
The Baron is now gone, so the minion wave won't have much time, but also Quas is kind of a full-time defender right now, so it is a bit of a 4v5.
Right. Oh, they got a hook, but don't commit to it.
Yeah.
Dyrus took so much damage there.
When that hook was down, they felt very comfortable. Going in, the rocket missing just over the shoulder of Phoenix. The turret's down, the inhibitor now to follow. The soldiers are in. Santorin makes his way into the fight as well. He's on to Quas. Expecial and Piglet on the back line, and Piglet has no mana and no range on the fight. There's a Blade of the Rune King, though. They're able to take down Lustboy. Bjergsen comes in. There's the shuffle. There's the triple. Could that be the quadra? And Bjergsen picks up a beautiful play. Like you were saying, Jack, it comes down to that last big Azir ult in the end of the game. And it did right there. 53 minutes, 19-11. Game 1 of the quarterfinals goes to Team Solomid over Team Liquid.
Late game Azir, greater than all, I think, is one thing that ends up happening there.
Over and over.
Just when it looked like Piglet was going to be able to hold the defense and push them out of the base, Bjergsen had been sitting on his Azir cooldowns, and he just drifted right into Piglet's face right there and blew him up, including 2 other people. So, yeah, that was the game right there. Team Solomid, they had accumulated a lot of advantages up until that point. 53-minute win.
Really nicely played, especially for what happened in